Here's something I never took a video of before. This is a Craftsman LT that I changed the pulleys on and made it faster. Somewhere around 20 miles an hour. And finally the gearbox broke. 6-speed Peerless. This is actually the replacement for that. Same thing. The only difference is this shaft, this selector shaft is different. So it's too long, so I'm taking this out. I'm going to put the one in from the original transmission. This was actually a hydro. Pretty expensive model, probably one of the better ones, I guess. It's a V-twin, 20 some odd horsepower, and had a hydro gear in it. Sold the hydro gear, made a little money on that, and I also sold the mower deck separate to kind of fund the project. And I found a used gearbox pretty cheap and had to buy some here and there parts, but still made a little bit of money after all that and converted it to manual. Because I basically got this thing for nothing. That's why I went through all that trouble. But it was a lot of fun. Really put it through hell. So it's time for another transmission. So here's a replacement. It's in good shape. Let's look at the carnage on the other one. Seems like these gears hold up pretty well. They're made really good. They're heavy. But yeah. Broken on one of the bevel gears. Broken there. Actually what happened was it was giving me warnings over time, like I'd say about a year ahead of time. It was making some weird noises and it was getting hard to find the gears, and then finally I thought actually I was losing teeth on here, but this is in good shape. I guess a piece of metal, but what happened was this totally jammed up. It was so locked up you couldn't move this at all. It actually would kill the engine. It wouldn't burn up the belt, it would just stop. I actually broke a gear out of there. Yep, sure that didn't help in the gear mesh situation. Just barely good enough for the stock ratio at 20 some horsepower, let alone overdriving it by about 4 times and making it go 20 miles an hour. You spin this stuff up too fast and it's hard in the bearings and the axles and just can't take it. But this replacement came off of Murray that someone brought to me with no mower deck, and the engine was on it, and they said use the engine from that on the other machine that they wanted the engine replaced on. So I got this transmission for free, along with getting paid for doing that. So that's pretty cool. There it is. It's got to be what's doing it, because just a matter of getting that brake disc in an agreeable situation there. Okay. Okay. Alright. Button it back up, I guess. If you ever take one of these things apart, don't forget about this thing here. There's a set screw that goes in there, and a spring, and a ball bearing. Those pieces there. And that's for your indexing for the piece inside that goes up against that. That's to help keep the and gear, whatever you select. And also, some of these gearboxes came with grease. It's a lot of people do this when they, especially when they overdrive them like this. They change the ratio, make everything spin faster. They take the grease out, or at least what they'll do is fill these things full of oil. I'm not getting real scientific about it. People will tell you all different things, but I just put all I had. I had a whole bunch of chainsaw bar oil because I use the chainsaws a lot. So filled this thing up to the top. Really makes them run quiet, and it's better for the gears because at that high rate of speed, there's less chance of it running dry and the grease being flung off. Put that nasty stuff back in there. Yep, chainsaw bar oil. Yeah, I think it would work good. Stuff is so damn sticky. And this stuff is mixed with old stuff, so it looks like metallic paint. It's only about a third full before I add anything to it. Probably like that from the factory though, because I ain't see any spots around the transmission where it could have been leaking, so that's a good thing. Yeah, if you ever want to do a pulley swap, make your running more faster for whatever reason, I would go more to the conservative side when it comes to top speed, because you want the thing to be usable. I mean, if you have 6 gears, if you have 5 or 6 gears, that's you have a lot to work with. So I think these things, even at 10 miles an hour, these damn running mowers, they're not very stable. They're not built for anything over what they really were built with. Some folks get pretty crazy with these things, but I guess if you're going to go all out, you know, lower the damn thing and put different wheels and tires on and put direct drive on. Whatever you're into. I just like being able to use 6 gear and only run the engine at half speed. I'll try to be nicer to this one though, because it was I really put the last one to the test. I was really asking for it sometimes, pulling up hills in 6 gear with a whole bunch of stuff in a cart pulling behind me. Definitely not recommended. Alright, so all that stuff's in there. Alright, so we're pretty much ready to go there. Looks good. So there's one good reason to have an LT. Okay, so the morning sun has vanquished the horrible. That's some bad Castlevania humor. Okay, so I also had to change out the brake assembly because that bracket and whole setup was different. It looks like the Murray Transaxle has a different length as far as the axles. They look like they're wider. I had to use those spacers from the Murray. The Craftsman ones were way too short, and the axle lines up with the wheel, so the hub is the same as the Murray wheels, so it's like a lot wider now. That's pretty cool. Didn't notice that before. Looking good now, and it's definitely wider. Those tires are sticking out pretty good there. Just took it for a spin. Yeah, that works out to be a pretty good drive ratio. Anything faster than that around here is just a dance with death.